Happy Friday, all you mentees. This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and today, join me for an overview of the Iron Man Epic Collection War Machine. So, please stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Now, before I get started, it feels really weird saying that. This is usually where I give shout-outs to Marvel or DC or for sending me books, advanced copies of books, but because of the pandemic and the crisis going on, nobody's really shipping out advanced copies until things get back to normal. So this book I ended up getting through Cheap Graphic Novels because we really didn't know when it was going to come out. As a matter of fact, right now it's already available through Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I'll talk a little bit about the direct market and what date it comes out on. But before I do, this is volume 17 of the Iron Man Epic Collection. So as you could probably tell, it's going to be focused on this armor right here, which is the War Machine armor. So there it is, volume 17, the content, and of course the retail price being $39.99. It means we have a lot of the Golden Avenger in epic format. And as a matter of fact, this one right here, The Enemy Within, was not only my very first Iron Man epic, not only my very first epic that I bought, but the very first epic to be collected from Marvel Comics in this format. So this is the very first epic collection. So it's awesome that we've gotten so many. This is all of the Iron Man ones, by the way, so far. As a matter of fact, we have a really good solid run from this volume right here, which is volume 10, all the way to 17, with the exception of a volume 12, I believe is the one that's missing. But let's focus on War Machine and see what this has. One more thing before I go any further. I've gone ahead and created a new playlist. It's called the Marvel Epic Collection playlist. So if you're interested in just Marvel Epic Collections, scroll through the channel and find that playlist, and you'll see all the other Marvel Epic Collection videos I've done. Now, this has been available already in trade paperback format. Not all of it, and I'll talk about the differences here. This is Invincible Iron Man War Machine. Came out probably about 10 years ago or so. This collects issues 280 to 291. And you're going to see that this is a lot different. Not a lot, but very different. How about that? And if you're a stickler like me, when it comes to being a completist, you probably want to keep this too. So here's the spine for you to take a closer look. War Machine. You actually have the War Machine down there. All the people that put the book together here, like Mark Beasley, Maya Loy, Jeff York, and of course David right there. And as you can probably tell, this has a lot of creators behind it, a lot of artists, a lot of writers. So we kick it off with annual number 12. It's part of the Subterranean Wars. This is part 4. And it is the only part that's collected in here. The Subterranean Wars was a crossover event that happened through the pages of the Avengers Annual, the Hulk Annual, the Namor Annual, and then this right here, in Avengers West Coast eventually. So all those annuals, it was just an event that happened throughout it, so it was a crossover. But this contains all the little backup stories that were not collected in those, I'm sure. Some of these I haven't read in years. So what else does this collect? Well, this volume 17 collects issues 278 to 289, and then annual number 12, annual 13, and then material from Darkhawk annual number 1, Avengers West Coast annual number 7, and Marvel Holiday Special 1991, which has one of my favorite covers on it. No, it's the 1992 Holiday Special. Just, I think, Arthur Adams. So you could probably tell right off the bat, 278 and 279 are part of the Avengers crossover event, the Operation Galactic Storm, which is already available in epic format and in trade paperback format. But this just contains the Iron Man issues. So by the time we get to 280, he is back into his non-crossover stories, and most of the stuff is written by Len Kaminsky. Actually, Len was writing the Iron Man run during this time. So right here we have 281, which is the very first appearance of what the title is, the War Machine armor. Now, if you've seen the movies, if you know anything about Iron Man, you know who ends up donning the War Machine armor. And there it is for the very first time. Here is the cover, the recolored cover to the trade paperback. I've always loved that cover. I wish they could have used that. But here's the first full appearance of the War Machine armor. when Tony Stark is inside of it. Well, controlling it, rather. Because right now he's going through a really strange phase in his life. So, here is the beginning of the crossover. Now, this is pretty interesting because this does have all the parts to this crossover. So we have a Darkhawk annual, #1, where the story kicks off. And this is written by Fingeroth, and Mike Manley's the artist on it. And I'm a big sucker for Darkhawk, so seeing Darkhawk, any issues in an epic format, boy, man, I get excited. I'm hoping they end up collecting Darkhawk one day in epic format. Here's part 2 in the Avengers West Coast. This is Assault on Armor City, I think, this crossover event. And then the final part right here, part 3. And of course, like every other epic, if the annual is in there for the title, then it will contain the entire thing. So like Darkhawk is just material from Darkhawk, which is just that part of the Assault on Armor City. It's always a sucker for this armor too, the Blue Centurion, is that what it is? Yes, this cover. The Marvel Holiday Special from 1992. Arthur Adams. Drawing all these newish characters. You have New Warriors, Punisher, the new Ghost Rider. No Darkhawk though. Thanos, who was big at the time because of the Infinity crossover events, and Hulk. So this is another Iron Man focus. It's just that part, so it's only material from that book. Now, I mentioned earlier that you may want to keep this, right? If you're, like I said, a stickler for continuity and completionist, like myself. Because this has 2 more issues. This goes all the way to 291. This stops at 289, so you need that 290 and 291, so it's ridiculous, right? I'm keeping this stupid trade paperback just for 2 issues. But that's the Uncanny Omar mentality there. Spoilers, the death of Anthony Stark. Okay, so this is the storyline, without getting into details, where he leaves the War Machine armor for Rhodey to wear. So then Rhodey now becomes the new Iron Man. There's Spy Master, I think that was his name. He was I always liked that group because he had the Blizzard in there, Constrictor, Whiplash, Beetle. But yes, now Rhodey is inside of the armor. And there's a misunderstanding with the Avengers West Coast. And I will let you find out the rest of what happens in here. And does Tony Stark stay dead or not? As far as the extras, I don't want to flip to the end here, but the extras are really contained here, like in between the pages. So usually they keep all the extras in the back, which I love. And there's still a little bit here, and we'll look at that in here in a second. But what they've done is put like original page art on the opposite side of the cover. And usually on this side, if the cover's on this side, this would be like a black page, or it'll say Iron Man. And the reason I get this question a lot, especially if you're new to the collected editions game, it's usually because of ads that the pages are spread out differently when it's in a single issue. So, for example, if they had ended the issue here and put the cover to 282 here, then we would have had this page here, meaning that this splash page would have been ruined because page number 2 would have been on this side. So that's why they do those pages. There's an actual term for it, but I cannot think right now because, hey, it's Friday. Now, let's look in the back here for extras. There's a little bit that they keep in the back, covering that page up because that's the ending with a big finale that is a cliffhanger, and then just little articles and designs of the new Iron Man armor. So 488 pages is what this has. And as I mentioned, it's already available at places like Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and coming out on June 17th to the direct market, meaning those are books shipping from Diamond. So the reason Cheap Graphic Novels got this was because they went through another distribution center. I don't know if they still have any or not, but they'll be getting more on June 17th to sell to everybody else. As far as the build of the book, you can probably tell that this is the new paper quality that they've had for the last couple of years. It's a little thinner than what they started, so the book itself looks a little thinner, even though it's 488 pages. But it lays over really nice for the, for the most part, because it's a pretty big damn book. If you want to purchase it now, check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com.
your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you Minties, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the page count of the book, the contents, and the build of this epic. Let me know in the comments down below if you're picking Iron Man up in Epic Collection, if you're hopefully and waiting for an omnibus of these stories to come out. I would love to know all those comments down below. Don't forget to check out the new playlist that I created for the Marvel Epic line, so if you want to go back and see any of the old Epic videos I've done, they're on the playlist. Please don't forget to smash that like button, notifications button to let you know when our videos are going live. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. We can be found on Patreon and Redbubble. And thank you to our existing patrons. It's a great way to support the channel. If you can do so, all of that information is in the description down below. More importantly, everybody, please stay healthy, please stay safe out there, and much love to you all.